Hello everybody, my name is Carla Alexander and this is what I'm going to call Keeping It Real. Fearless. I've been doing some research over the last couple of years, I want to say, in this transformation that I have been going through. I went through a lot of different ideas as to how to start my own business because I thought that I finally got it. I had gone through all of these steps and, I reached enlightenment. So now every idea that I have is going to be a great idea.
What you talking about, Willis?
As long as I stay grounded, not to get, ahead of myself, I should be good. Well, I decided that I wanted to be a life coach. And I pushed really hard. But I think I was pushing the right message, but in the wrong format, I want to say. And it wasn't that I quit, because I didn't quit. My lifelong goal is to be a life coach. It's just trying to find your niche. And that was the hardest part for me, because I'm like, I love fitness. I would love to be able to, teach other women how to get healthy, but I don't want to train anyone. I don't want to be a trainer. And, then there's the pastry certificate. I like cooking. And I know why I like cooking. I like cooking and baking because it makes me feel good. And I didn't want to commercialize that. So even though I have a certificate, in pastry arts, I don't want to do that. So I took two of the things that I love the most and I said, you know what, I'm going to make these things about me. And I'm going to focus on trying to heal the world, trying to figure out how women can come into their self, to embrace the real them. And I did not realize until the second phase of this spiritual transformation. I'm hoping, for God's sake, I'm hoping it's the last one, because I can't take it. Oh my gosh. I think my message wasn't getting out, or I wasn't able to reach the right audience. It was because I wasn't sending out the right message. I'm like, I'm still making the same mistakes. It wasn't until I had hit completely rock bottom. I hit it down, bounced and came back down, bounced and came back down. That's how hard I hit rock bottom. And I'm talking about 2.5 weeks before I'm sure we're going to be getting eviction papers from the company that we're renting from. My car broke down like a month ago, so I've been stranded in my home. And well, it doesn't really matter because I don't have a job. And I have been busting my ass daily, pulling in 13, 14 hours on my website, on my, courses, and I'm not struggling because I know what I want to say. I just didn't want to come across as anything other than the image that I had in my mind of what a powerful black woman is supposed to look like. We were talking about those types of doctors and teachers and lawyers, they went to school and, they went from the bottom and, rose to the top, and now here they are, look at them, and you just want to, you want to admire that so much that you also want to maybe try and become that. My problem was, that's not who I was. In my mind, it wasn't. And because I was chasing something that wasn't true to who I was, I kept making the same mistakes over and over and over and over again, to the point where we are in the process of being evicted. But I realized that I like the idea of being able to be sexy, I guess, right? I like the idea that they like looking at me. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I like the admiration. And I think most women like it, especially when we're feeling good. And it comes from years of feeling so ugly. I think that's what it was. Years of feeling so ugly on the inside because I couldn't figure out who I was. I didn't know who I was supposed to be. You know, I was raised in poverty, but in the white part. Okay, my mother always found a way for us to be broke in the white neighborhoods. We were never broke in the black neighborhoods. So I grew up, at least from like, I want to say from the time I was born until maybe 13, when my mom finally moved to New York City. That almost didn't happen. She was trying to go back to the white broke neighborhoods. No, we don't want to do that. We were already in let's stick to the black neighborhoods because we can identify a little bit more with that. Little did I know I wasn't going to be able to identify with that because guess what? You know what happens when you are raised around white people? And then you have a moment of clarity that you're no longer white, but now you're black and you're in the black community. It's called a culture shock. What the hell? There's more than one color in a neighborhood? I was amazed. But in that amazement, I couldn't relate to R&B. I don't know. I wasn't, how the black culture worked. I didn't understand the music, you know, because I was raised with rock music and not R&B. I don't know. I didn't grow, I grew up with Michael Jackson, but I mean, he was going through the same thing. That's probably why I can relate. But other than that, all of my idols, all of my, you know, superheroes, all of them have been white. So I grew up with that mentality, and what happens with that is that if you're not clear on who you really are, it will mess your head up. It truly will, especially now because in the workforce we have to look a certain way to be considered for anything. Like they make black people work so hard for the smallest things, and it's just so unfair, but that's just life. And it's like either you're going to get on the bandwagon or you're not, and it's so hard when you're a single parent, you know, with limited education. I got a GED, yeah, but I mean anybody can do that. And I should have went further, and I didn't. You know, all of the things that were safe, because I'm like, yeah, people can relate to eating, and people can relate to, you know, losing weight, and people weren't relating. They just weren't relating. You know, in 3 years, I've acquired 65 followers, and I have a lot of videos up, but 65 followers, and I have a lot of videos up. But I just wasn't hitting the right market. So I realized that, you know, maybe as a life coach teaching these things, maybe that'll work. And I'm like, Carla, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's not gonna work. No matter how much effort I put into it, because I think it's the energy. I think it's the energy. And don't get me wrong, I put a lot of energy into my courses, you know, my stories, my blogging. You know, there was a time, you know, a couple of months that I kind of fell off, but, you know, I was going through some personal issues. But, you know, I get right back on the bandwagon, you know, and I just keep going. I don't forget, you know, you can't quit, Carly. You can't quit. And I'm still making the same freaking mistakes. I grew up with, you know, in our neighborhood had died, and he died of a heart attack, and he and I were the same age. I'm like, yo, we were like, you know, a friend of mine who I grew up with you know, in our neighborhood had died, and he died of a heart attack, and he and I were the same age. I'm like, enough care of myself to be as knowledgeable as I am as a personal trainer. So shame on me. Okay, let's just do that. And I'm not going to keep trying to sit there and hide the fact that, yeah, I just don't want to train other people. I have a hard time training myself. That's not going to happen. So I realized something that I like to do. So I realized I'm not going to be able to make a career out of this. That's not going to happen. And how to be able to, you know, capture the attention of every man in the room. You know, who doesn't want to be the center of attention? You know, especially when you felt like you have been invisible for so many years. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that were life choices. Those are choices that I'm never going to be able to take back. I have to own that. But the same way I have to own those mistakes, I got to be able to own the true person of who I am. So the reason for this video today, all into it, you know, so I says, yeah, my sister's like, oh, you know, you should open up an OnlyFans page, and, you know, you should do this, and I have started an OnlyFans page. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, okay, you know, maybe I could do that, you know, so much fun. Because I enjoy taking sexy pictures. I enjoy teasing. I just do. It's fun for me. And if I can get paid to have that kind of fun, then why wouldn't I? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I started doing all this research. You know, I opened up my OnlyFans page. I got familiar with, you know, some of the things that are on there. I'm still working a couple of details out. But for the most part, you know, I know what I'm doing. I know how to hit freaking send at this point. But, you know, I wanted to know what other older black women were doing, you know, on an OnlyFans page. So I started doing research, and I started looking, you know, I Google everywhere, you know, Google. And I'm like, yo, I know they're out here. I know they are. So I guess the problem is there's a ton of black older women who are banking, okay? And they're just not as open with it, you know, for many reasons, I'm sure. But what happens to the ones that, you know, like me, understand what that entails. I know, you know, what that means. And that's the reason why I want to be the type of grandmother that looks like a grandmother. I just don't, you know. I mean, why do I have to look my age? Why do I have to be subjected to granny panties because I got grandkids? You know what I'm saying? No, I want to be able to be as sexy for as long as I possibly can. And, you know, not willing to. There's tons of people willing to talk about an OnlyFans page. I mean, I have so much information, so much data. I mean, you'll be able to help guide me because if it's one thing I understand out here is that hours and hours. But the problem was I still needed somebody who identified with me to be able to help guide me because if it's one thing I understand out here is that we can't all be trained the same because we're never going to be treated the same. So what's going to be great for a cute little white chick is not going to be okay for an older black chick. It's just not. We have more obstacles to overcome. You know what I'm saying? So I need somebody to identify with me and what I'm trying to do because an OnlyFans page is you know, another way of expressing myself. And when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? This feels really good. Like, I think I can do it. You know, I think I can do it. So I wanted to go step by step, you know, as I go along. I've only had this open for a little less than a week. So, you know, I threw a couple of pictures up there that if you're like me and you're ready to be sexy. You're just ready to take back your life. You know what I'm saying? You're just ready to have fun. I got a couple of, you know, highlights on my body. Let me accentuate. Let me do this. Let me do that. You know, and you're not sure how to go up. There's such a small amount of older black women out here who, you know, feels confident enough to say, you know what, I got a couple of, you know, highlights on my body. Let me accentuate. Let me do this. Let me do that. And you're okay, like you don't have an issue with whatever body parts you're okay with showing, then I say by all means just go for it. Hey, you know what? Take a couple of pictures in a nice sexy blouse without your bra. Everybody loves to take pictures in a sexy top. You know, we do. We have on something sexy and revealing. Hey, you know what? Take a couple of pictures in a nice sexy blouse without your bra and just be natural. You turn you on, you know, and you get creative in the moment. And then you might say, hubby. I'm just joking. I mean, it could happen. But anyway, but I'm keeping it real. That's it is what it is. And if those are the types of thoughts that you have on a regular basis and you want to take it, a step up, then take it a step up. And I will be the guinea pig because in this week alone, I've already made so many mistakes. So many mistakes. But it's too late now. And that's why I know that this is something that I have to go down, because I didn't even think about it. You know, I felt it. I knew this was something that I want to do. And this, going down this road, scares the shit out of me. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. But I can't go back now. I have committed myself because it's too late. Everybody knows that I'm a sexy, older black woman now because I'm owning it. I'm claiming it. And I am going to do everything I possibly can to stay as sexy as I can. And for you full-figured females out here, what you're dying to do, I say do it. Let all of it just hang out, because there is a market out there for you too. There is what you're dying to do, I say do it. Let all of it just hang out, because there is a market out there for you too. There's a market for everything out here. I think I saw a woman's foot in, it looked like ravioli. I don't know, but yo, on my so commit every week. So guys, on what happened the week eviction. So no, you know what I'm gonna do? No, I'm gonna claim it. A week before, I can't make any real promises because I am kind of going through a eviction. So no, you know what I'm gonna do? No, I'm gonna claim it. I'm gonna claim it. A MILF. By Wednesday, 10 p.m. Okay, no later than 10 p.m. The video should be uploaded. I'm not gonna be able to commit to a time, but definitely look out. So if you guys are interested in learning what it's gonna be like to be a MILF. I still have a hard time with that word. If you're interested in what it's gonna take to become the sexiest version of yourself, then by all means, you guys must like this video. I'm going to basically show you what it's going to take if you want to get your sexy back. And I'm going to have to keep it as real as possible. There will be videos on nutrition and different exercises. I will be posting videos on sensual stretching, stretching the body to get us in those hard to, hit places. I thought that would be really good because I know a lot of them, even out the room. So many different positions that I feel are uncomfortable for a female to get into, and I'm in pretty good shape. If you're suffering with that, then you might benefit from this video, or from a series, excuse me. We're going to try and hit as many different positions that I feel are uncomfortable for a female to get into, and I'm in pretty good shape. So if I'm in pretty good shape and I'm having a hard time, then yes, these videos will definitely be for you. And don't be ashamed to own your sexuality. It's never too late to recreate who you are. And I'm hoping that, I reach at least one or two real genuine females. I don't expect to reach many in the front line. If it's going to help you be able to figure out who you want to become and taking the steps to get there. I don't have a problem doing that. I went to go look up black MILFs. Was it black female MILF? Something like that. And a page popped up and all you saw was freaking black women with dicks in them. And I'm like, yo, what is that? No, that's not what I'm looking for. I twittered about it. I Reddited about it. We collectively need to step into our own. No, I'm just done. I'm done. We collectively need to step into our own uniqueness so that we can teach the next generation how to own their own shit. You know what I'm saying? So that we can come away from this horrible, not equal to white women. We probably never will be, in all honesty, you know. But at least within ourselves, we know. And know that no matter what we do in our life, no matter what career path we go down, no matter what second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever, how many careers you go through, at some point in time, no matter what you do, you're gonna have to work twice as hard for half the bread. And that's a reality that I just don't want to accept. I refuse to do that. There are so many other women out here who are making bank. They are making bank. And they are doing it their own way. And I am not going to stop until I get there. So, again, like and subscribe. Hit those notifications. Don't forget, this is Carla Alexander with Keeping It Real. Keeping It Real.